You know, last week we were talking about Randy Orton, and we thought that WWE jumped the shark with this whole storyline. This week we had Randy Orton recapping last week.
Yes.
And they somehow not only jumped the shark, they jumped themselves jumping the shark this week. I know it sounds confusing. We'll try to make some sense out of it. Good evening, everybody. This is Breakfast Soup Raw. What's today's date? January 25th, 2021. Yes. Wow, January is almost over already. Wow, this month went freaking fast. I am Don Tony, and joining along with me is
Anthony Missionary Thomas. What's going on, DT? What's going on, everybody in the chat? How y'all?
Big shout out to everybody, especially everybody live. Today's episode, we're pretty much going to focus on three things: Raw, Royal Rumble, Peacock. Yes. Peacock. Big deal. The big breaking news. Everybody was talking about it today. Honestly, we could have done a whole episode about it, but in case those out there aren't aware of it, the huge news: Bad Bunny is going to be performing Booker T at the Royal Rumble. Bad Bunny. Have you ever heard his music?
Yes, I have, but it's not like I've listened to it. It just hearing it in passing, it's that EDM disco stuff mix.
He's a Latino singer. He's got some decent music. Not anything that I would enjoy, but I expanded beyond the Booker T song. He's actually a pretty good performer. And I will say this, he's a lifelong wrestling fan. So you always got to give that to someone. But I tell you, I don't care about him performing. Me personally, I would have rather them show the music video Sunday instead of the live performance. But I ask you this because I'm baffled. I'm legit baffled. A majority of people online were cracking jokes about this guy performing at the Royal Rumble. I saw almost nobody talking about the bigger picture here.
What do you mean?
Why would he perform at the Royal Rumble unless Booker T is going to be in the Royal Rumble? What do you think? Can you dig it, sucker?
Yeah, he might be one of the legends coming in. That'd be interesting.
I think he's going to be in the Royal Rumble. I mean, why would he perform Booker T? I mean, if you're going to perform Booker T, do it at backstage. Do it in a pre-show. Like, if you're going to do it live, for what? So Booker T could be just sitting there like, yeah, I could dig it, sucker. I think this guy's going to be in the Royal Rumble, and nobody is talking about it. I mean, he's not going to win it, but still.
I mean, it's good for him. I mean, that would be a nice little surprise at the Royal Rumble to see Booker T come out there. You know, him coming out there with live music too. That's fine. It's been a while since WWE's given us a proper surprise at the Royal Rumble. So something like that is a little notch in their cap. Good for them. Yeah.
Now, as far as entries in the Royal Rumble, I have the updated list in front of me. And of the 30 entrants in the men's Royal Rumble, if I am correct, we have a total of 16 announced. It was 15 going into tonight's Raw until I don't know why they didn't advertise this a week before. You would think, especially with no football today, you would think a week's in advance notice, they would have hyped it. But we had the appearance promo from Edge. Loved the promo. A lot of young stars of today could take some lessons from this guy. I mean, just believable, emotional, just everything about it was awesome. And he declares himself in the Royal Rumble, and now suddenly some betting odds out there have Edge possibly winning the Royal Rumble. What do you think?
I don't know about that. I mean, that's an interesting segue to it, but I'm not really sure if I would put Edge at the top of the Royal Rumble list. You know, the idea of Edge cutting his promo tonight, I do agree with you. I think Edge does have the cadence. He knows the formula on how to cut a good promo, and he knows how to be intense. It's something that he's always had. But the weight of what his promo meant tonight, it almost felt like it belonged to somebody who's a current wrestler. Edge at this point is a legendary one-off. He shouldn't be going back for anything. There's nothing that this man needs to prove or have proven to him. It was almost as if this promo should have been given to somebody else. And I'm not knocking Edge. I'm just saying that the weight of the promo doesn't make sense for the position that he's in. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
It makes a lot of sense because
you know what it is? It's like a guy who hasn't been wrestling for 5 years comes back and talks about how hard he works for this business every day. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that obviously outside of the wrestling industry, the guy isn't working hard and trying to get back from rehab or for whatever reason that he was gone for 5 years. But it doesn't fit the persona of the character. Edge is a smart guy. He's a vibrant guy. He's an intense guy. But this promo did not fit tonight.
A lot of what he said, he did already pretty much last year. The only issue with him being in the Royal Rumble is, you know, he mentioned Randy Orton injuring him.
Yes,
but
he did.
It doesn't feel like Edge and Randy Orton are crossing paths again, especially at the end of Raw tonight. So Edge being in the Rumble, it can only lead to two things. It's got to be a WrestleMania match, period. Edge has got to wrestle at WrestleMania. My question is, does Edge face AJ Styles at WrestleMania, or does Edge face Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania? And I tell you, I know Edge has wanted to do something with AJ Styles and vice versa. Right. So I get this feeling that maybe we'll see a little teaser at the Royal Rumble. Maybe AJ Styles is eliminated, because if anybody's noticed, I mean, when we poked fun at it a week ago, when we were talking about people losing their shit about qualifying matches and other people declaring themselves, you all remember this? AJ Styles was the man that all the wrestlers went for qualifying matches and they all lost. So obviously this is to boost AJ Styles' stature in the Rumble. I'm wondering if Edge takes on AJ Styles at Mania. I tell you, I would prefer to see Edge versus AJ Styles than Edge versus Drew McIntyre.
Yes, I agree with you. First off, let me say kudos for the Al Bundy shirt. I'm just saying.
By the way, I wore one a week ago. Sorry to interrupt you. I wore one a week ago, and people were like, you got to wear the one that says Bundy on it. Did you see it?
Nice.
So I pulled it out of the closet. It stunk a little bit. I haven't worn it in a while. But yeah, that's the Bundy. It's the Bundy one. That's the Bundy jersey. So 4 touchdowns in one game. So,
but I agree with you. Edge versus AJ Styles seems like the more natural fit. I think that's actually probably one of those matches that's in a lot of personal fans' fantasy matchups.
Yes.
And to be fair, AJ Styles is not a guy who's known for hurting people, and obviously Edge has a litany of injuries in his past. So the idea of him coming back and working with somebody who's known for being safe, man, I mean, you really couldn't ask for a better matchup at this point, you know?
Absolutely. So I know a lot of people are immediately thinking that it could be Edge and Drew McIntyre. I think Edge versus AJ Styles is better for me.
Yeah.
You know, because the thing is, I know a lot of you out there wouldn't mind Edge being heavyweight champion again. The problem is, what kind of schedule is he going to have? You know what I mean? It's nice.
Oh, legendary. He's going to be like just special events. Maybe he'll come around, obviously, for WrestleMania. We expect him at Royal Rumble, obviously. We expect him at WrestleMania, obviously. I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up for a Survivor Series or SummerSlam. And now, especially without going too much further down the road, we don't necessarily know what kind of schedule WWE is going to commit now that they're going to do work with Peacock. We don't know if things are going to change in that direction for either more new original programming like the Edge and Christian show or something like that, or even perhaps having him out there a lot more just as, you know, general commentary. I'm not sure. He has so many different options right now, especially with all the changes that WWE is going to make in the future, that you just kind of look forward to seeing him around a little bit more.
Yeah. And I just think the duties of a heavyweight champion, I honestly think as much as people really appreciate Edge making any type of return, it wouldn't be poo-pooed on as much as Goldberg. But,
Right.
The idea of putting a heavyweight title on a legend just to fight 2 times, I think some fans start getting a little bit ticked off at that. And, I think Edge would be better suited against someone like AJ Styles. It's like I said, you'd rather have a fantasy match than a championship match. And I think people understand what I mean by that. Like, some people, you obviously want to see gold around their waist, but when it comes to Edge, I think people would rather have the fantasy match than anything else.
I agree. Do you think that the idea of a championship belt around legends such as Edge or anybody else that you could think of at the moment, Goldberg even maybe again, do you think that that's been ruined kind of the way that they've been mishandled over the years? Or do you think that that's something that's still viable for WWE to pull out of a hat every once in a while?
I don't think it's ruined at all. In fact, I feel that it is necessary to pull it out once in a while, because this is sports entertainment,
Yes,
and you don't ever want to eliminate certain storylines and certain hopes. A lot about wrestling is hope. A lot of people don't look at it that way, but it's about hope. And you always want to be able to go to a storyline where someone tries to be Mickey Rourke, the wrestler, and tries to get one last run. Obviously, some people end up like the wrestler character, Mickey Rourke. Then you have some other people out there that can somehow rise to the mountaintop. So you always want to have that. I tell you, I've said it before, and it's an unpopular opinion, but I like Goldberg wrestling once in a while. I didn't like how they did it, taking the belt off The Fiend, because it just felt like, this was a diversion because they didn't want John Cena to take him on for the belt. We've already beat that to death. And the Roman Reigns situation last year before the COVID struck. So having someone older win the title once in a while, that's always sounds like look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady leaves the Patriots and goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I still remember, like, within the first 2 weeks, a lot of us were cracking jokes at Gronkowski, like, hey, you left that WWE big bucks contract for this. Now they're in the goddamn Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So you always want to have that. But I will say this, having a legend come back and winning an important title should be very rare, and that should be heralded for a very, very small group of people. I remember when Hogan won the title again, when he came back, and then ultimately the Mr. America stuff and everything. I remember a lot of people pissed off, and I think it was it Undertaker that beat him for the belt? This was when he came back after the NWO run, when he went back to babyface. I think Taker beat him for the belt.
Right. He was kicked off the show as Hulk Hogan. He was restrained from the company. It might have been Undertaker.
Yeah, I think it was Undertaker, but it should be reserved for a very small, special group of people. You don't ever want to feel that you owe it to someone or you want to include it in a contract. It's got to fit. It's got to look like it fits, and it's got to feel like it fits. And there's not many people that could get away with that. Now, Philip Maffey asked the question that I know you would love to see happen, but do you think there's any chance CM Punk returns to the Royal Rumble this Sunday?
Is there a chance? Absolutely, there's a chance. Do I expect it to happen? Absolutely not. I mean, the idea that CM Punk wouldn't come back to WWE for the right amount of money is absurd. He's made it very clear that there are certain circumstances in which he would come back to these companies and AEW and everything else like that. And I'm not sure what the olive branch needs to be in order to get CM Punk back in the company. But yeah, absolutely, there's a chance. But if you're still holding on to hope in 2021 that he's going to be back, I mean, man, it's going to be difficult to continue holding your breath.
Yeah. Every year that people hope and he doesn't show is another 365 days gone by.
Right.
Next thing you know, you're 40, 42, 44, 46. And look, I still think the guy could do it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's just
like the idea that there isn't any chance, like there's no possible way that he wouldn't show up to WWE is absurd. Because there's, I mean, I'm not going to steal Vince McMahon's line, but never say never means something. You know, there's always an addendum. There's always a way for you to come back to work. It's just, is that olive branch being extended to CM Punk? Does he even want to at this point? Like, that's another thing too. You know, you also have to take into account, how does he feel? We don't even know how the guy physically feels anymore. It's one thing when you can see a wrestler all the time on TV and there's people out there that are asking them how they're feeling or if they've got injuries or if there's EMTs around. We don't know how Phil's body has improved or degraded. We don't know his personal ailments anymore. Like there's no actual knowledge if he's in ring shape right now. So I don't know. Is there a chance? Absolutely. Are you supposed to be waiting for it though?
Hope.
Yeah. I mean, hope. Yeah. Goes back to hope.
Yeah. Now let me clear something up for everybody out there. Paige, Renee Young, they're going to be on WWE Backstage Saturday. By the way, they added a little thing at the very end, which kind of sucks for our Patreon family because I can't use them as bonus questions now. But Saturday, they're going to reveal who is going to be number 30 in the Men's Royal Rumble and who's going to be number 1 in the Women's Royal Rumble. So, any prediction who you think is going to be number 30 on the men's side and number 1 on the women's side?
You know, I really don't. I really don't know. Why? Do you have actual predictions of who this is going to be?
Well, I'm going to stick with my. I'm not going to do predictions till Friday because we got to see who else gets added as participants, if any matches are added. But I'm still going to stick with my original prediction of who wins the Royal Rumble. I know I'm going to be wrong, but I'm just looking at decreasing ratings. You know, we'll talk about the Peacock deal in a few moments, everyone. Trust me, we're going to have a lot to say about that. But I look at the overall viewership down. I look at the ratings being down. I see, you know, them trying to get a lot of attention and exposure. That's why they announced WrestleMania 37, 38, 39 in advance. We have vaccines out. You know, I got mine last Tuesday, for in case anyone, you know, hasn't tuned in since last Monday. I'm feeling good now. And by summertime, you're going to have, you know, almost half the country vaccinated. And as I've been bringing up the last 2 shows, and I want to bring it up here too, you know, when you see a lot of people online saying, oh my God, when can wrestling arenas be back at 100%? I answered it this way. And people have told me publicly and privately that I have given the best answer that anyone's ever given. You look at WWE before COVID. You look at MLW. You look at Ring of Honor. You look at Impact Wrestling. AEW, different because AEW is the new kid on the block and they were only around for a few months before COVID hit. But for almost every wrestling company that's out there, when they did house shows, they would only fill about half the arena, maybe a little bit more. So when WWE was doing house shows, if an arena sat 9,000 people, they were doing 4,000, 4,500. So if I say to you that the arenas go back to being half full, that's what it was before COVID. So this idea of having to wait to get back 100% is just nonsense because they were only filling at half mass or half, you know, capacity, half capacity before COVID. So if we get back to 50%, for a lot of promotions, they're going to be like, hey, we're back to normal. But now getting back to what I was saying before, with all of these changes happening, they need some bigger names to really stand up. Seth Rollins will be back at the Royal Rumble, in my opinion. He'll boost SmackDown a little bit. I'm still going with Brock Lesnar to return at the Royal Rumble, win the Royal Rumble, and take on Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. The same match as last year, but roles reverse. McIntyre is the champion. Lesnar is the challenger. The only issue is, where does Paul Heyman fit into this? I know I'm going to be wrong, but I'm still going to go with that.
I don't know if you're necessarily wrong. I mean, that really does seem like a good case scenario. Actually, it's the best case scenario that you can use with Brock Lesnar coming back. I'm just not a fan of him just walking into Royal Rumble, picking up the win, and walking out. I don't think he needs the win in order to go up against Drew. I don't think he needs it. Or not Drew, Roman, I'm sorry. He doesn't need the win for that. I don't know. You can make the storyline about Paul Heyman.
No, Brock's not going to take on Roman. I think Brock is going to take on Drew in a rematch. I'm just saying Paul Heyman is the advocate for Roman.
Right, but I thought that was the head-to-head that you were talking about before.
No. I don't know if they're going to do skits where Paul Heyman has Brock and Roman in the same room. You know, I don't know if Paul Heyman is going to be seen on both sides. I don't know how that would come across.
Well, I thought we were joking before about the fact that Roman mistreats Paul Heyman, and Brock Lesnar might take exception with that, considering that Brock and Paul Heyman are friends. I thought that that's the direction that you were going with that.
No, I'd say Drew and Brock in a rematch.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I think Big E could win the Elimination Chamber, and then Big E takes on Roman Reigns at Mania. That's unkind. But I think Bianca Belair might end up being number one, because they're trying to make her the EST. Well, she is the EST. I'm not trying to make her, but they're trying to showcase as much as possible that she is the EST in almost everything. So what better way to have her start out at number one and possibly win the whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
So number 30, I have a feeling Edge is going to be number 30. I think it's going to be someone who really does not wrestle all that much anymore. And the fact that Edge announced his return today, I think Edge will be number 30, and I think Bianca Belair will be number one.
It's more of a proving grounds for Bianca Belair. Edge coming in at 30 makes perfect sense. He gets to get in there. He gets to take his shots. I would assume that Randy Orton would be in around the area at some point, perhaps. If not Randy Orton, then AJ Styles, obviously. Bianca Belair as number one is pretty impressive. That's an impressive spot to put her in, and I'd be very curious to see how far she makes it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. By the way, big shout out to Joe Punches. Go back to sleep, my friend. You know, hope he's doing well. So, he's a big friend of the show. Big friend of the show. Yeah. Much love, Joe.
Do I look like I'm sleeping? I mean, it's only because I'm Japanese, dude.
No. Trust me, I get to go to sleep early tonight. I had a pretty rough weekend. You know, I just a lot of things going on at the same time. It just feels like, like the record is just nonstop playing. I know record is outdated, but it just feels like the same record just playing over and over and over again. And I talked about it early today. Technically, today's the first day of 12 straight days doing shows. Going to be doing shows for 12 straight days, and we're going to end January with a bang and start February with a bang, and we got some announcements coming up. So, and by the way, I got it. Just give me a second, Mish. We've had hundreds, and trust me, just go to the January 1st, New Year's Day episode of Don Tony Show. There are hundreds and hundreds of ideas, show names that you all have been sending my way for Thursdays. Now, I'm not stupid. A lot of you out there want to win this bad boy. This is, it's replica, obviously, but, it's AEW title. If you're not an AEW fan, put it on eBay. I could give you something else. Yeah. So I said, whoever comes up with the best title. Now, I got some bad news and some good news. The bad news is it looks like I'm not using anybody's ideas. The good news is I'm going to take everybody's entry and I'm going to narrow that list down to almost like 20. And maybe we'll do like a little tournament bracket and we'll have you all vote on which ones you like, and whoever ends up being the finalist will win the prize. I'm going to give it away anyway. But the name that I may be using on Thursdays, it's not going to be every week. It'll be on Thursdays when I do an interview once in a while, have a guest on, a little bit of casual conversation. I was talking to someone today, a friend of mine personally, and he was just bouncing some show ideas off of his head. And he said to me, he goes, how come you don't want to use your name in the thing? I said, well, because, if I have, Mish on, if I have some guests on, I'm going to have Johnny Candido on shortly. By the way, as I said, I got his book. I got a few that we're going to be giving away as well. It is on Amazon. Mish, I will send you one out tomorrow. Number 4 already on the Amazon top 10 wrestling books up. 4. It's not even on sale for a week yet, I believe. But I'm going to be reading that tomorrow. We're supposed to get a snowstorm. I'll be reading most of the book tomorrow. But bouncing some ideas, and I said, look, Thursdays, which is becoming very special very quickly, is a lot of conversation, casual conversation. Mm-hmm. And as, we were saying it hit me. And I passed this idea out today to see what kind of feedback, and it seemed to get a lot of good feedback. Sorry. What do you all think about the name, instead of conversations, Donversations? I'm not sure if I'm going to go with it. It's not 100%, but I came up with Donversations. Instead of a conversation, a Donversation. So, somebody said conversations with the Don. I don't like using Don. I'm not a Don. But that is the name that it may be going with. Now, remember, it's not going to be every week. It's not 100% definite, but that's the name that people seem to be liking. So, right. You're tuning in. Tonight, we're going to have a Donversation with blah, 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 blah.
Horrible. Alex, you come up with something better, sir.
Yes. Alex thinks that, look, I totally respect whether people like it or they don't like it. So, but anyway, we were talking about Booker T earlier. Look at him. Motherfucker is jacked. He was always jacked, but he looks like he's ready to return to the ring. And that is, was it Bad Bunny, Blue Bunny, whatever? That's Bad Bunny in the background. Yeah. Booker T looks like he's ready for the Royal Rumble.
He does. He looks like he's in shape. Obviously, he's working out. He's probably ready to go. It's not like he's going to spend a long time in there. Nobody's expecting Booker T to come out in the single digits, So
yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, that Donversation thing, like I said, it's not 100%.
It's not horrible. Look, dude, I know people.
It's a starting point.
It's horrible. No, it's not even a starting point. That's all right. That's okay. It's the same kind of cheesiness that you're good for, man. Like that's
you know what the problem is? A lot of names that people came up with were excellent. The first thing I do is I do a YouTube search and I find 55 podcasts with the same name. Like somebody said Casual Conversations or Conversations with the Don or Con with the Don for short. And you go on there, somebody said, forget about it, and I go on there and there's somebody, forget about it. So almost every great idea has been taken. So right. I checked and there's no shows going on right now called Donversations. So
right.
We'll build on it, everybody. We'll build. By the way, later on, we have about a 20-second video clip for everybody out there. When we talk, we could even get into it now, about the deal with WWE and moving the WWE Network to NBC Universal's Peacock channel.
Yes.
Not too long ago, I did learn how to record audio in 10 seconds for dummies. Well, tonight we're going to give you how to switch from the WWE Network to the Peacock channel in 10 seconds for dummies. We got a video clip for everybody in a little bit. Because, Mish.
Yes, sir.
I went online and I'm checking out the deal with WWE and moving the network to Peacock. Now, for those that don't know the full deal, and look, we don't have to read press releases. It's simple. WWE signed a 5-year deal with NBC Universal to move the WWE Network to their Peacock channel. premium service, free service, pay service, whatever it is.
Just America, though.
Right. Just America. Overseas still gets the WWE Network.
Right. Sony Live India, which they just came out with their new program from January up, is still going to have the WWE Network in India and in various Middle Eastern countries.
Right. So I did some research for WWE Network right now and how much content is offered. Because what we heard this morning is that the deal is for 5 years. The deal is worth, it looks like, in excess of $1 billion. Now, with all due respect to some people out there who are unemployed, don't show their face, and don't have any sense of financial responsibility, saying that this is horrible, this is a miserable deal, the WWE Network is a failure. Inking a $1 billion deal, I don't think is failure. Whether WWE stepped in shit or undeserving, whatever it is, business is business. And they inked their asses a $1 billion deal. Now, how it benefits us is that right now we pay $9.99 to see WWE Network, $9.99. When it moves to NBC Universal's Peacock channel, which I believe is March 18th, current subscribers, you don't have to pay $9.99 anymore. You got two options. You could pay $4.99. You get the WWE Network in its entirety, and you get the Peacock in its entirety, but you get advertisements. It's like Peacock Premium, it's called. So you do get ads. I don't think it's ads for the WWE Network, but it's ads for the Peacock channel, and you get WWE Network. You pay $4.99, so your price every month is cut in half.
That is fucking ingenious. I just got it. So before you go too much further with this, the one thing that I've complained about the WWE Network for years is that they were leaving millions upon millions of dollars on the table by not having outside advertising on the network. You know, we have outside advertising on our podcasts. There's outside advertising on different, Twitch streams and YouTube streams and everything else like that. There's outside advertising. But for WWE, most of the advertising was in-house on the network. Now that they're paired up with NBC, the reason it makes sense for this to be a $1 billion deal is that everything we're going to watch from the network that's on Peacock will now have proper advertising breaks. It will now be separated. So we're going to get a shit ton of commercials now with everything that we watch, which obviously you're going to go into, well, you can spend $10 and not get any ads, and you're kind of in the same boat. I agree. But I'm saying at that point, NBC is taking that and hoping that people go for the $5 or the free package and just take all the commercials because they're going to make more money from those commercials.
Right. It does have commercials in it.
If you fucking about fucking good for WWE. Dude, I always say it, that WWE will continue to make money in spite of themselves. This is just another one of those tricks that it's just taken them a while. But holy shit. So they're going to get paid by NBC. They're probably going to get a cut of those advertisements. And even if they don't get a cut of those advertisements, they don't have to host anything. So they save all the money from the hosting and everything. Oh, holy shit. That's fucking
That's
genius.
The difference between an intelligent man like Mish and about 90% of you in the chat room right now and these people on Twitter that, as I say, for a year plus now, and I know it gets a little bit tiresome, but there are people on Twitter that have to shit on everything that is a good thing for anyone else but themselves. Yeah. This WWE deal is a huge, huge, huge deal for WWE. All right, so you could pay $4.99 and you get ads, or here's the kicker, and this I think is a plus. If you pay $9.99, you get the WWE Network like you do now, but you also get the entire Peacock channel, no commercials.
Right.
So it's basically you're getting the WWE Network and the Peacock channel for paying the same amount of money.
Right. See,
how do you go wrong?
Chance, also saying, he's like, if you're a subscriber to Xfinity, you get Peacock for free. I know on Roku right now I get Peacock for free, but I also get a shit ton of commercials.
Right.
So, and I know that you can watch WWE I don't know if you've seen this, but they actually already have WWE content on.
I want to put this up now.
Okay.
20-second video. 20 seconds. I watched people all day long today. And if you think I'm making it up, everyone, just go on Twitter and type in canceling WWE Network and make sure you click the menu. Make sure you click the menu that says latest so you don't get the threads from 2 years ago, 3 years ago. If John Cena wins, we riot, we cancel the network, blah, 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 blah. People like, oh, I'm not signing up for another service. This is bullshit, blah, 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 blah. I'm canceling. And I joke, I am not kidding you. I kid you not. It took me 20 seconds total to sign up for Peacock today. This is video, and this is, like I said, for everyone out there, this is how to switch from the WWE Network to the Peacock channel in 10 seconds. This is a screenshot of me earlier today. Seriously, what is wrong with some of you? I'm not going to switch over. It's too complicated. The hell with this. I've had enough. Oh, 10 seconds. 10 freaking seconds. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Get out of here. Shut up. Took me about 15 seconds to get on that WWE page with Untold and all the other shit that they have up there already.
Fantastic, dude.
I mean, come on. Come on. You take your mouse.
Matter. I think it's not even a lazy matter. I think it's a lot of this, I don't want to say privilege, but maybe it's a lot of pride. People have too much pride in some of this stuff where it doesn't make sense. Like, oh, how dare you remove the WWE Network? How dare you do this and that? It's their company at the end of the day. We know WWE is all about making money. We know that the ratings are suffering. We know that the storylines are suffering. But as far as expansion and growth, there's no company out there. There's no wrestling company out there that's anywhere even close to the level of WWE. And inking a deal for $1 billion to have other people do the work is fucking genius. WWE is not going to do anything. You know what they're going to do? They're signing the paper saying, here's the password to the servers in the vault. You go do you. Because WWE is not going to have anything to do with the Peacock app. They're not going to have anything to do with the NBC page. So that's NBC taking all that content, doing all the work, setting it up, putting it on their servers, putting the advertisements in it, whether it's dynamic or fixed, I don't know. That's all NBC's problem. WWE just literally just wasted a little bit of ink for some money. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. And here's the kicker, DT, which I'm not sure if you know. NBC probably has a much, much larger reach than the WWE Network will.
Exactly.
What do you think?
And here's another thing I think people have to think about also. When you watch, even if you sign up for the $4.99 just for the pay-per-views, when WWE has a live pay-per-view, they don't do 2.5, 3-minute breaks between matches. They may show you some vignettes and things like that. My point is, when you have a live pay-per-view, you're not going to fall behind on the live feed because NBC Universal is splicing in commercials every 20, 30 minutes. You're going to probably get a commercial for a live pay-per-view before the event happens and after the event happens. But in the middle, it's going to be commercial-free.
I would not be bothered if they put commercials in the middle. If you're a $5 subscriber instead of a $10 subscriber, I wouldn't be bothered by that because there's plenty of times where WWE has these little intermissions during pay-per-views, and I know that you've seen these. They have these little intermissions where you can see that, oh man, they should put in a spot here. Or they do some kind of like in-house spot where they're plugging Kentucky Fried Chicken or something, and they have the wrestlers come out there. I'm sure the homegrown spots will still be there, but there's absolutely no problem with them putting in a couple of commercials, peppering those in. Because if it's going to be a pay-per-view that's either free, because didn't they say tonight, and maybe I'm misquoting, and I don't want to be misquoted on this one, but didn't they kind of allude that WrestleMania is going to be free this year? Or is it going to be
it'll be on, put it this way, as of March 18th, in the United States, the WWE Network will still be as it normally is. WrestleMania will be on Peacock. And as long as you're a subscriber to Peacock, $4.99 or $9.99, you will get WrestleMania. Basically, they're included with the subscription. You're not paying extra for it. So, no, it's not free. But if you're in a $4.99 tier, you get the pay-per-views included. Now, here's another thing I think that's very important. By the way, shout out to Guardian Chaos. Shout out to Jay Carlos. Correct me if I'm wrong for those tuning in live right now. But my research has led to me that WWE Network has approximately 11,000 hours of content currently on that channel. I saw their year-end statement that they did at the beginning of 2020 for 2019. And in that year-end financials...
29,000 hours.
How much?
29,000 hours. 29,000 hours of content.
Well, that could also be including the specials and the live pay-per-views, so that could be the reason being. Plus, they have, replays of current shows, but I think as far as original content, it might be 11,000. I'm not sure. But on the press release for Peacock, they have 17,000 hours listed. Now, I will say this. They have not, this is two things that I need to know about them moving to Peacock. Now, I think most of us agree now that this was an excellent decision on WWE's part. For business, I mean, they hit a home run. For the next 5 years, they're financially pretty much secure no matter what goes on. You figure out that revenue stream, that's a big, big deal. Now, here's my two questions. Number one.
I have
what?
Because I have one too.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
My two questions, I'll keep it brief, is number one, what is going to be, if anything, is going to be removed from the network? If they start getting rid of like old school. Now, I don't think it is, because they said 17,000 hours of video on demand.
And when they talked about the Sony Live deal in India, they said that India will be receiving, India and different countries around India will be receiving 29,000 hours. That's in their press release.
Right.
So why is India getting 29,000 hours of WWE content, but Peacock is only getting 17,000?
Right.
There's obviously something that they're removing from here. And let me just throw out my 2 cents.
Yeah.
I would imagine it's from a lot of promotions that aren't directly or promotions in old school shows that WWE or back in the WWF days or whatever, that they just don't want to put on Peacock because they believe that content isn't something that's viable.
You mean like AWA or WC? Well, they might leave WCW, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
That's what I think, though. I think that they're going to get rid of a lot of the old school content. And I mean, in that sense, obviously for some of us that might hurt a little bit. But as far as the newer viewers and the people that will be subscribing to Peacock, 17,000 hours is still 17,000 fucking hours.
They could rotate.
How much does that break down to $1 billion?
Right. They could rotate the old school stuff.
Yeah.
Because my God.
Oh, yeah.
For a very long time, the WWE old school section was my favorite section until they didn't update it for 3 years. So, if they axe that, I mean, I've seen those WWE old school events probably 10 times, each one, because every time I turned it on, it's the same fucking shit. I got to watch freaking, the same thing over and over again. So, I mean, I don't think they're going to eliminate legendary moments like Hogan becoming champion and this and that. So they may rotate that, put on a rotation.
Per year, WWE, so for 5 years, per year, per hour of content, costs NBC $11,764 an hour. So of the 17,000 hours, for $1 billion divided up over 5 years equals $11,764 an hour of content.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah,
I mean, for WWE, it's a great deal. So,
VJ, I'll get into you in a second. VJ, here's my second question. See this?
Yes.
I want people to see the back. It's not scratched off. See that?
Right.
See the over here where right there?
Yeah.
I have about 6 of these. I offered them as Patreon prizes for 2 years and nobody picked one. So I have 6 of these $60 WWE Network cards. What's going to happen with these unused WWE Network cards? Because I can guarantee you that I'm not the only one that has them. I guarantee you that some people, especially Christmas time, probably got gifted or maybe bought some of these multi 3-month subscriptions, 6-month. So I need to know from WWE what is going to happen with this. I don't think this is going to be able to be used on NBC Universal. I don't know what they're going to do about that.
It's still going to apply to WWE because there's still tons of people outside of the United States, DT. If you send that to somebody in India, if you send that to somebody in Canada or Mexico or anywhere else, they can still validate the WWE network because it's not going away. It's just not going to be available in the US underneath WWE Network anymore. It's going to be available for Peacock. Now, I would imagine the smart thing that WWE does is they convert those cards into a money system. And instead of it being for the WWE Network, turn it into a WWE gift card. So if they don't want the network or they don't want to use it for Peacock, you can use it for T-shirts, you can use it for mugs, you can use it for merchandise or anything else that they offer. That's just a simple couple of clicks. They literally turn it from the WWE Network and just make it for a WWE Shop Zone card, you know?
Do you know what I'll do? Maybe next week we'll give one of these out to our international friends out there. Sure. I'll start giving them out. So, and by the way, just a reminder, everyone, if you tune in live Thursday night after Wrestling Soup, we don't start until after Wrestling Soup's over. Going to stick with the 10:05 p.m. start, by the way, everyone. Majority of you out there are happy with that time. We'll just try to end the shows a little bit earlier. But this Thursday, the Who Am I contest, this is your prize. Ronda Rousey. Like I said, go on eBay, go check around. You cannot find Ronda Rousey in her Rowdy Ronda Rousey outfit. It's usually MMA photos or headshots, and it is Beckett authenticated. Here's the Beckett card. You go on Beckett's website, you type in the serial number, you see it over there, and they match up. So it is the real deal, and it's beautiful. It's actually a really nice photo. So we're going to give that out Thursday. Jay Carlos, I already sent him his Charlotte Flair from last week. In fact, it may have arrived by now. And yeah, I kind of like the 10:05 because we got 10:05 on Wednesday, 10:05 on Thursday, and 10:05 on Friday. So it's kind of like a smooth, consistent middle of the week. So, but so look, overall, it's not going to be an inconvenience. And yes, I think it was Steve Joseph that asked before, this obviously was sped up by about 1.25%. It's actually 17 seconds, not 10. The point is, you click log out on the WWE Network page, you click log in on the Peacock page, you type in your name, you type in your password, and you're in. You go to the search box, you type in WWE, and boom, you're there. I mean, it's literally 20 seconds at the most. This is not an inconvenience for anybody out there. And for people that are going to say, I'm going to just cancel my service, those are just people looking for attention. We just got to see, and here's another thing too. Let me read you something else that they mentioned in the press release. Starting in 2022, WWE will produce one signature documentary annually for the WWE Network on Peacock. Also available on the WWE Network are about 100 hours of series like Steve Austin's Broken Skull Sessions, Undertaker Last Ride, WWE Icons, NXT UK 205 Live, Raw, SmackDown, and they do mention WWE, WCW, ECW pay-per-view events, documentaries 24, Untold, and 365. So they also boast that they have the Peacock channel. Let me just say one other thing. The Peacock channel, and they talk about it being, some cable networks include Peacock as their service. I don't know if it's Xfinity it's called, but they got 24 million households. WWE Network has, what, 1.5 million subscribers? So you think, like you said, as far as the amount of advertising that's going to kick in for all of those casual people that are just going to stream because they already have, the Peacock service. If you already have Peacock and you pay $4.99 and you don't mind the ads, you're not getting WWE included. So you're actually getting something else for free. You're getting WWE for free. If you're already a subscriber for Peacock, you're getting everything on the WWE Network for free. If you are not a Peacock subscriber, then technically you're paying for WWE, but you're getting the entire Peacock network for free.
Right.
So in the end, you're getting a boatload more stuff, but we also need to see what they remove. Now, was your question about the removal of the content?
Well, yeah, no, I actually talked about that with you. That was pretty much my question, is because, like I said, their previous press release about the WWE Network internationally quotes 29,000 hours, which is obviously 12,000 more than the 17,000 that's on Peacock. But the few differences are, I think that they have different specials internationally too. I know that for who was it? Jinder Mahal did a special just recently that's not directly an American special. I know that there's other specials that come out internationally that we don't get here. And not only that, but I'm curious, is the WWE original content going to migrate over to Peacock as well? Like, and I'm just spitballing, not by personal taste, but things like the Edge and Christian Show of Awesomeness and Camp WWE and Corey Graves Looks at Tattoos. Like, are these things actually going to get transferred over? Or is Peacock kind of establishing WWE based around the documentary, the wrestling content, as opposed to the outside content?
Let's also remember, WWE has a gigantic YouTube channel. So
sure,
content will be on the YouTube channel also.
Oh, yeah.
Which gets commercials.
What do you think that 12,000 hour difference is?
That could be it.
Is it just old school? Is it going to be original programming that's axed? Is it just like the old WCCW? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
No matter how you look at it.
I'm just,
yeah.
I'm just saying it's interesting,
Yeah. And for the people out there, they're going to try to throw in people's faces, well, the stock market went down $1 or $2 earlier today. Some people, they try to strike the iron while it's hot. That's a phrase. And if you've ever been invested in the stock market, sometimes when you feel that something is worthy of selling it now and not declining, you want to get in on selling whatever you have and if you have a few people, like I owned WWE stock a long time ago. When I owned it, it was only about $9 and change a share. I think I got it for $8.80 a share or something many, many years ago. But you've been holding on to WWE stock for a while, and it's now $55 a share. Remember, it was only a year or so ago where it was in the 20s or the 30s. So, stock almost doubled. So you're holding on to the stock for a while, $55 a share, and then they make this announcement today. Now people, want to invest a little bit more money. That might be the time you say, you know what, let me sell it now. So to avoid the stock going down in price, because if you invested 2 years ago to now, you made a pretty nice profit. So if you get a bunch of people selling the stock today to try to capitalize on that profit, that causes the price to go down a little bit. That's not reflecting on, oh my God, people are frowning on it. This is a huge, huge deal. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Shout out to Jay Carlos and VJ. I will check it. VJ said that one of his show idea names on January 1st was Donversation. So, VJ, if we go with that, then then the prize will be yours. So, I did not recall seeing Donversations on there. But, hey, give credit where credit is due. If it's there, then you, my friend, will get it. So, we'll see. We'll see. By the way, does anybody want Ethan Page's heart? I'm getting a little bit sick and tired of looking at this thing. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll give it away to somebody. So, any final comments regarding this deal with Peacock?
No. I mean, for the most part, I mean, when you really analyze it and you just take a look at the lack of anything WWE has to do, they're making $1 billion for no work to migrate it over to more people and pay less on their own, because right now too, it's the deal is technically a lot more than $1 billion, because you have to factor in all the costs for servers and bandwidth and everything else that they spend in order for people to access this network. Migrating the whole thing over to Peacock alleviates them of all of those costs, and the people that run it, and the people that keep everything up to date on the dashboard side. There's a lot of money that they're making on this, not just based on the deal, not just based on the commercials and the ads, not just based on the lack of servers, but every other aspect that they have without having to deal with the network. Look, and I know we said genius a couple times, and I know people are making fun of that, but it really is a smart move. If you can get paid $1 billion for doing nothing, that's pretty fucking smart, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a couple of years that they've been shopping around selling their rights to the network footage. This is not new news. This has been going around for a while. And if you remember the rumblings about a year ago, that wasn't it ESPN was going to be doing something with WWE, or was it Sony? Did anybody remember the channel last year? I thought it was ESPN, but they were talking about, moving to one of those. So this is the deal with NBC Universal. I tell you the truth, it'd be curious to see what happens with NXT now, because it talked about it on Friday a little bit. NXT may have some issues because they're the NBC Universal, that sports the channel that they have, they're removing that content. So NASCAR and NHL are going to the USA Network, and you do get games on Wednesdays. So what is the future of NXT? And I know a lot of people out there saying, oh, they'll go to Tuesdays, they'll go to Thursdays. We made that prediction last year that sometime this year they're going to move to a different night. The problem is, NHL doesn't take off Tuesdays or Thursdays. So they may run into this problem no matter what day of the week that they have. So it makes me wonder if there's a possibility that they work out something with NBC Universal as far as putting it on the Peacock channel. Maybe. Don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyway, so with that said, let's talk about Raw. I got to be honest with you, Mish. As far as a go-home edition,
it was subpar.
It was subpar, man.
I mean, there was a couple of fun things tonight, but for the most part, WWE's go-home Raw, its Royal Rumble, was average at best. And you know what? It's the last shot that they really get, because from here on out, it's all about their biggest show of the year. So it's kind of
road to WrestleMania.
Right.
We had
there were some funny things. Like, I mean, R-Truth killed it tonight. R-Truth always kills it, but he killed it tonight. The happy birthday Truth or Truth happy birthday. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
THB.
That was funny.
I thought THB stood for this hour blue, because the first hour I thought sucked. R-Truth at the beginning of hour 2, I thought is really where I started finally liking the show.
Yeah. Well, and even him with AJ and Omos was pretty funny too. You know, like Truth just gets it. Truth can take people I mean, come on. Dude, all they were doing, the Hurt Business was just standing out there talking about their jewelry. It was a bad segment. It was a bad segment. Until Truth came out there and made it funny, that was bombing as all hell. It was really bad. But then they got him out there, and him and MVP have a little spark, and they have some good back and forth and stuff like that. It's good. Truth makes things better. It's funny, but it's true. Yeah.
Are you surprised that, and we've talked about this before as an idea, but are you surprised, especially with the amount of title changes that have taken place for the 24/7 title? R-Truth's like a 40-some-odd time champion, I guess, around there.
Yeah.
Are you surprised that not even for a short period of time that they didn't put the 24/7 title on MVP so they could have that one picture of every single person in the Hurt Business with gold, other than a nameplate?
It's at this point though, it's not the 24/7 title. It's the R-Truth title. Let's be honest. It's literally R-Truth's title, and if he retires, he's going to retire with that stupid belt. I think it's amazing that he holds on to it for as long as he has. Even when he loses it, he brings a level of comedy to the show and an entertainment to the show that other people just don't have the capability of doing. So, yeah, you're right. In one sense, it would have been fun to see everybody in the Hurt Business, Hurt Locker, with a title on for even a split second.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It doesn't affect me in any way. I don't mind Truth holding the title, you know?
Yeah.
So.
No, Truth is a bright spot. You know, like I've said this, if people follow part of this formula, you'll still enjoy wrestling. You'll enjoy wrestling a little bit more. You know, wrestling is never going to be 2 hours or 3 hours of what you want. There's always going to be a little something for everyone. For some people out there, they love the comedy. For some people out there, they love the straight up great wrestling. I thought Riddle.
You don't think that Truth is a talented wrestler?
Oh no, I'm not talking about Truth right now. I'm just saying I'm saying that, you know, there's a little bit for everybody. You like women's wrestling, you got it. You like just good straight up wrestling tonight. Riddle and Cedric, I enjoyed it tremendously. You know, you got storyline, big drama, great promos, you know, you got that. Right. So not everything is going to be good, but it's a little bit of everything. Like I said, it's almost like going into a diner and you open up the diner and there's 4 pages of menu and you could have everything from like a burger and fries or eggplant parmesan or a seafood dish or a nice steak or a BLT if you want. You know, so if you follow that formula and understand that not everything is going to be for your liking, but for what you do enjoy of the shows, you got to focus on that. Then it's not so bad. I don't mind Goldberg, like I said before. I don't mind Goldberg coming out there. I'm telling you, I know
horrible promo.
His promo was bad tonight. It was bad. But I think that's just because of the whole storyline. Like his first promo made zero sense.
Right.
And WWE told him to say that. And like I said, it's almost like he read something that was supposed to, like it was supposed to be towards Roman Reigns.
He looks senile. From his first promo where he's making up shit about Drew, talking crap about old people, to this week when he thinks he's back in WCW since 1999. You're next. Next for what?
See, even Drew's promo.
Hasn't been a next for you in years, buddy.
But even Drew's promo tonight.
Sorry. Goldberg coming out there and acting like he can flex on a guy twice his size while an aging Goldberg is. I'm sorry. He looks senile. He looks like he's getting ready for the old people home.
There's something about Drew's promo tonight that I picked up on immediately. And I have virtually no notes today, everyone. There's not really much that you have to type down what we got tonight. Drew said something in his promo tonight, and this is a perfect example of WWE just feeding them absolute shit. he said something tonight I thought was almost as bad as Goldberg's first promo saying that Drew doesn't respect legends. Drew started talking about Goldberg's career and how he was a phenomenon, 173-0. He beat Hogan for the title, this and that, and then he went on to beat Rock and this and that. But he started talking about a streak. And he started talking about that Goldberg returned and started a new streak. And Drew was going to end that streak at the Royal Rumble. And I just, as I'm listening to this, I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Goldberg lost to Braun Strowman. What streak are you talking about? Goldberg
he's
lost.
Talking about the streak in his draws because he forgets the wife being so old. You know,
this is not Drew's fault. This is not Goldberg's fault. I don't understand what WWE is trying to do with this storyline because they had them read lines that made no sense whatsoever. What streak is Drew McIntyre talking about? I'm trying to fucking figure it out. What streak is he ending?
Senility is rubbing off from Goldberg on a Drew.
Benjamin, I'm sorry. You fell a little bit into the mousetrap. Not intentional, but you said the streak is that Goldberg beats champions. Yeah, but Goldberg loses title matches. I mean, there's no streak. You know, it's not. Yeah. You know, hey, you know, I'm 50-50, but we beat this one team 8 straight times. No, a streak is wins and losses consecutive. If you really want to dissect it, we could turn around and say, hey, we have the most viewers on YouTube at 4:12 in the morning that are in New York, in Howard Beach, Queens, with only males in the studio that happen to have wrestling in the background. You could try to break this down into whatever you want it to be. It's stupid. But and I'm telling you, I'm still sticking with it. I think Miz is going to cash in again. Drew is going to beat Miz, so Goldberg doesn't have to be pinned. And then Miz will go to Adam Pearce the following night on Raw and say, Adam, you know, Morrison cashed in the briefcase, not me. Like a little technicality. And this time around, Adam Pearce is going to say, no. Because I still don't understand why Miz has the fucking briefcase again.
Because Otis.
I'm serious. WWE I think Miz is going to cash in.
All over the place for a while now. They just don't seem to really keep up with story continuity like they once did. Honestly, the whole streak thing that Drew mentioned, I don't think it was I think it was purposely put there, but only because the people that are working the creative team forgot that Braun beat the streak. They forgot that Goldberg doesn't still have that streak. It's just little nuances like that shows you that even the creative team isn't paying attention. I mean, you really want to come down to it? How miserable is that? The people that are writing the show aren't even paying attention to the show.
I'm telling you, the very end of that segment of Goldberg spearing Miz and Drew Claymore kicking Morrison might have been practice for something similar at the Royal Rumble, where Morrison tries to interfere and maybe Goldberg spears Morrison, or, you know, somebody gets a Claymore and then Goldberg's going to spear someone, and I think Drew's going to turn around and, you know, nail Goldberg or throw Goldberg out of the ring or something, and Drew's going to pin Miz.
Right.
That's how you beat Goldberg without beating Goldberg. So that's how I see it. So now I'm ready to fart, seriously. 25 minutes of women's wrestling that honestly I thought was fucking awful.
Great. You didn't like the fact that Shayna fucked up with the count, and so they dragged out Pierce. Like old school. That was very old school of them. It really was. I had to give them a nod. It was very bad. It was very bad that it happened.
Charlotte knocked Shayna for a loop. I don't know if anybody saw that. Dana Brooke, there is a point. Oh my God, you all got to see this seriously. There was a point, and you could see Charlotte looking at Dana Brooke like, the fuck are you doing? Charlotte tags in Dana Brooke, actually. Let me take that back. Dana Brooke.
You got to go back to the beginning on that.
Yeah, we will. But let me just say this part. Dana Brooke tags herself in from Charlotte.
Yes.
Gets the tag. Dana Brooke goes in the ring and then tags Mandy Rose, and then they proceed to do like a double kick or something, and then like leaves. But if you watch only Dana Brooke and the whole sequence before she entered the ring and then she tagged, it's just like she looked absolutely lost. But you could bring up how it all started.
Well, no, you're right. She was completely lost. I mean, you started off the match earlier with when. Oh no.
It was Nia. Excuse me. It was Shayna versus Charlotte originally, straight up.
That was how it started, right? And then Shayna got caught on the count out.
No. Nia interfered, causing the DQ. Because I tell you the truth, Charlotte versus Shayna, I don't think ever happened before.
And Mandy came running down to the ring, which was like, okay, so now we're doing this 3-on-3 thing. And that was awkward too, because I don't know. I just didn't expect, Mandy and Dana to back her up. I just didn't. I think that was a team. And then you go on and you have this 3-on-3 tag team, and then they fuck that up. Shayna fucks that up with the count out. Then they bring out Pierce to restart the match. And then you go through the match again, and there was like little botches all over the place. But the finish of the match was atrocious. And it was funny because WWE showed it like 3 or 4 times of Nia dropping Dana right on her noggin, man. Just hardcore right on the back of her head. And they showed it like 3 times. They're like, wow, look at the power. And I'm like, dude, she could have given this girl a concussion. What are you guys doing? I don't know, man.
So for the official record, Charlotte was fighting Shayna Baszler, which was a match I was looking forward to.
Yes. Yeah.
Within 2 minutes, Nia interferes, causes disqualification. Charlotte gets the win.
Right.
Then they beat down Charlotte, and then you have Dana Brooke and Mandy make the save. Lacey Evans hits the ring, and just everyone go back and look at the initial fisticuffs with Lacey Evans and Charlotte. It was pretty lame. Somebody is using my father. I'd be fucking wailing her like a son of a bitch, but they like slap me. It's just stupid. We go to commercial, and now I'm thinking Teddy Long. We're going to have a 6-women match. And then, like you said, Shayna got potatoed by Charlotte. And go back and watch it, and then, like, she got dumped outside the ring, and she looked like she was woozy.
Something happened to Mandy, too, because she was running really, really fast, and then she was limping on the outside of the ring. So I don't know if she ran so fast that she hurt herself when she was hitting those ropes, but she did something, because you see her on the outside of the ring when by the rampway. She limped a couple of times like that. So I don't know, dude.
Yeah. And
there
then
was a lot of
Charlotte chases. They do the count out first. That it's like you're looking at Charlotte and you're looking at Shayna, and Charlotte gets back in, and Shayna, they're up to 8. And she just doesn't get back in the ring. And then, this is not fair. This is not fair. You want to start the rematch? This is not fair. You want to start. Now, just in storyline, why would you do that? They start the match again, and then everybody runs away except for Dana and Nia. Nia drops Dana. I'll tell you, I hope Dana's okay for real. If she's okay, it'd look great on TV.
No, there's people in here that are upset that we're showing concern for Dana because Nia doesn't have a history of hurting people in her life. Nia doesn't have a history of not taking care of her opponents. Nia doesn't have that history at all.
I'm not going to lie. When Dana was laid out on the mat, she did not move for a few seconds. I said to myself, oh my God, I hope she didn't get injured. I don't like Dana on TV, but I don't want to see her injured. Thank God. But I mean, Nia ends up pinning Dana. So we ended up with 3 matches. And that wasn't enough. The stupidity continues. Because I understand Xavier Woods is a tough son of a bitch. Xavier Woods, I have praised the shit out of for the last 6 months. That man came back with a vengeance and is wrestling the best he's ever wrestled in his career. So I preface this with what WWE did to him tonight. In storyline, WWE made Xavier Woods look like a moron. A fucking moron. Why would Xavier Woods wrestle a match with 5 people at ringside? Or 4 people at ringside? The fucking beatdowns before weren't enough. No, I'll wrestle Slapjack. And even though he got the win, T-Bar does this one does this, and that. And then Ali hits the ring with a chair, and he picks up the chair like he's going to hit Xavier in the head. And it's when I saw him go like this, I'm like, yeah, I don't fucking think so. Fines immediately. They ain't doing no. I imagine how many goofs that were watching that, because he made it dramatic. He lifted up the chair like this, and Xavier Woods was like this, like he was showing he was scared. He didn't want to get hit. I wonder how many goofs when Ali did this, they said, attitude's coming back. Attitude's coming back. We saw Lacey Evans' peachy ass. I got that from somebody in the chat. And then Ali puts the chair down and sits down. And you look at Xavier Woods' face.
And he cuts his bland promo. About how he's not going to hit him because he's the king. And, oh, geez.
First of all, I didn't even know the King of the Ring was coming up. You say you're the King of the Ring. Well, I reign supreme. I'm like, who the fuck is feeding this 5 days before the Royal Rumble? And the best part about it is Xavier's getting the shit knocked out of him, and in storyline, I'm like, good. You deserved it. You're I can't say the P word, but you're the dumb moron that, not pussy, but you're the dumb moron. It rhymes with Kojak, but you're the dumb moron that went out there with Retribution, all 5 members around ringside. What'd you think they were going to do? Ask you for New Day cereal? WWE made him look like an absolute goof. And then Ali, tell Kofi, I said hello. Now Ali is finally mad at Kofi for taking his spot. 2 fucking years too late. That's like if my fiance breaks up with me now.
The storyline is so contrived. It's literally like, where did he pull this storyline out of? And now this is the reason. It's like, you remember when you beat me back in the day? I'm angry about that now. It's
oh my God. It's so this, and the stupidity continues, everybody.
Oh, it does.
The bright spot was, here's where we have R-Truth and Matt Riddle in the back, and he thinks the surprise party is for himself, R-Truth, that the Hurt Business was going to have a presentation, and as you said before, there's still a lot of tension, and we said it last week, that we think Lashley is going to be the one to say, look, stay out of my shit. And we kind of, it looks like we may get that at the Royal Rumble. We'll explain. But they do this little thing. The Hurt Business gives MVP the THB nameplate, which looked really nice, and R-Truth thinks it's for him.
Yeah, but there was also they're really sowing the seeds of dissent, though. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander making some serious moves as to disrupting the actual group. Obviously, without jumping too much further, Cedric Alexander involved with that Sheamus match. It's kind of a big screw up and got people mad about that. And Shelton Benjamin kind of taking offense to the way that they were talking about him in the ring. So you're right. I see the seeds of dissonance being spread. Don't know when it's going to happen, but you might be right. Maybe by WrestleMania, we're going to see some of these guys taking it to each other.
Yeah, I'm a little curious about Ricochet. Good points in the chat room. A lot of the storyline was about Ricochet, and then suddenly nothing. I mean, when we did the Who Am I on Thursday with Casey Catanzaro, without getting taken sides over here, even though I defended her, last week was Casey Catanzaro's birthday. And they had this dinner at a restaurant with like 12 or 14 people there. And they were getting eaten alive online for all going out without masks. Now, I defended Casey Catanzaro because they're in Florida. Florida's handled differently. You have masks on until you're seated. And there's a bunch of other things as well. But the thing is that Ricochet, who is dating Casey Catanzaro, they have posted pictures of them New Year's Eve, Christmas, right, birthday. And it's not just them. You have, what's his face? The fucking guy that just left Ring of Honor. Skrull, Marty Skrull. He's there. Yeah. You have people from Impact Wrestling there. You know, like you have different. So I don't think WWE is all that thrilled, not only with these parties going on with COVID. And by the way, I got to say this before I forget. I know I've said it 1,000 times. I know you've said it 1,000 times. I know a lot of you out there have been saying this 1,000 times. And it hit me today. I know a lot of people, including us, have said, why the fuck do they keep putting Ric Flair out there, especially with COVID and everything like that? And I thought about it today. You know, there's a possibility that Ric Flair's already been vaccinated twice for COVID.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I'm like, especially if they're going to have some spit swapping scenes with Lacey.
Oh, yeah. Did you see tonight they tried to do the recreation of Triple H and Trish Stratus?
A little bit. And it was kind of funny, too, because it was, okay, so maybe I have to go back and watch it. Maybe somebody can correct me in the chat room. When Rick first put his hand around Lacey's back, did Lacey put her hand to stop him because he was going a little low? Was Rick going a little low on Lacey, or was I just seeing shit?
It looked it.
I love that spot. That was hilarious.
It looked like he was going like this, and she's like, you know, like, she was like directing him.
This is an act, old man.
I don't like the storyline. I know it's to get heat on Lacey Evans with the Charlotte stuff. I like Charlotte's promo on Ric Flair today. You're turning from a legend into an old man. You know,
yeah, that was a good
there is
shot.
some reality to that.
Charlotte. Yeah, that was a real good shot from her.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm a Charlotte fan. And there's no one that's going to convince me otherwise. Charlotte on TV is better than Charlotte not on TV. And Charlotte has earned her place to be in the positions that she's in. I just didn't like today that Ric Flair, who apparently is trying to teach a reversal to Lacey, Charlotte enters the room. When Charlotte in storyline first entered the room, there was nothing remotely sexual about it. At least with Trish Stratus, she's bent over and it looked like Triple H was dry humping her, doggy style. Charlotte enters the room trying to do the Stephanie look, and I thought it was ridiculous. Ric Flair, and I don't know, there's something about Ric Flair as he's getting older, his schnozola is starting, you see the beak sideways? He's getting a fucking beak on his face. That nose is fucking big.
Right.
You know, but
see, the difference between Triple H and Trish Stratus versus Ric Flair and Lacey is Ric Flair is known for popping chicks. He's known. That's his thing. His thing is putting his dick in everybody. So if Charlotte sees old Ric Flair, her dad, with a girl that's her enemy and clearly 30 years his junior, if not more.
30? I think more than that.
I don't know the exact age difference, okay? But clearly with a much younger woman, and you see Ric Flair standing behind her, you're not thinking, oh, that's just a wrestling technician teaching her the ins and outs of how to do a proper hole. No, it's Ric Flair. He's copping a feel. Come on.
You think we'll get the tonsil hockey moment with tongue and everything?
Man. We might get it. That'd be great. I mean, obviously Lacey's a married woman. I don't know, how that works. Maybe she's into the idea of doing it for a bit. I think it would be funny as hell, but I don't even know if they need to go that far. Yeah. Like you even said earlier, Charlotte saying that you're just becoming an old man. That was mean. Like all the little character moments that Charlotte and Ric Flair have had where they've tried to do this, oh, the daughter doesn't want the dad around and blah, 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 blah. I think out of all the stupid promos that she's cut with her dad, that was the one that was probably the meanest. You know,
but you want to know something? And by the way, I know that there's few of you in the chat that do not like Charlotte at all, think she's overrated. I respect your views. I mean, we all disagree on it. And that's the beauty of, you know, our family here, that we can, you know, disagree on that. You know, we have a difference of opinions. But
Sure.
I thought what was different about Charlotte's promo tonight is that in the past, when they had Charlotte and Ric Flair at odds on TV, Charlotte was just when Charlotte said tonight, I'm not the bad guy here, in storyline, she's right. In the past, she was bitch number one, putting the father down, making her father cry. I hate you. I'm not your daughter, this and that. That is just her being the ultimate C word. Right. Today, she was demeaning her father, but out of love. Like, I don't want you doing this. You're a legend, and you're turning into a perverted old man. So I like that aspect of it. I just wish they didn't need to do this to get heat on Lacey Evans.
When she made Rick cry, felt like a storyline. It felt like it was something written. She's good at cutting her promo, at least in my opinion. But that felt like a storyline when she said, you know, I don't love you anymore. You're not my dad. Like, that stuff felt fake. It felt fake. They literally had a book out there at the same time that they were doing this angle. So it just felt like shit. But now that you bring in the idea of another woman and you say something like, you're just becoming a crotchety old man. You're not a legend. You're old. And it just, I don't know. That one for me, just kind of like, it slipped it right in there. And I'm like, God damn, Charlotte, that's savage. Yeah. Whether you came up with that line or somebody in the back did, that was a savage fucking thing to say. It just was.
And Lacey nailed her with one cheap shot. Ric Flair went to 10 to his daughter. And Lacey Evans is like, come on, baby. And she's like, well, how do you say it?
They screwed up with that.
Ric Flair, his penis started talking, and he left the room happy.
Dude, they screwed up with that, though, because when he left the room, he shouldn't have been happy. Because when he left the room, Lacey was dragging him out of the room. And then she was saying, like, oh, show me how to do the woo and everything else like that. And you hear down the hall Rick go, woo. Rick shouldn't have.
I thought that was his dick talking.
Yeah, maybe, but he shouldn't have. He should have still, because then that would have left the idea that he still was in concern for his daughter, and Lacey was the one dragging him out of the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I kind of went, you shouldn't have done that. This was perfect in every other aspect. This was probably the highlight of the night for me.
Yeah.
I really do enjoy the hell out of this Lacey, Charlotte, Ric Flair angle. It makes sense. It's a believable storyline, and considering the people that are involved, there you go.
Yeah. So, Riddle. Now, to set this up a little bit, we had that in-ring segment with the Hurt Business and the presentation of MVP. Then we have a little bit of bullshit around ringside, and Riddle gets a little bit of offense on MVP to set up the match later on, which was a gauntlet match. And the deal was Riddle was going to face Shelton, Cedric, and MVP. And if he could beat all three, he gets Lashley for the U.S. title at Royal Rumble. So he starts off with Cedric, and this entire match, with the exception of Cedric's match with him, I thought was excellent. I actually really enjoyed Cedric and Matt Riddle, but we get Shelton first, and it's going well, and then you got some forced, dumb miscommunication outside the ring by Cedric, forcing Shelton to get pinned unexpectedly.
Right.
The MVP is like taking off his game, and he's trying to pay attention at Cedric and Shelton, who are, kind of arguing. And MVP is basically had to submit. Riddle basically puts him in a submission move. He loses like this.
Right.
And then we get Cedric against Riddle, which I thought was good. But again, horrible, because at the very end, Cedric climbs the top rope that he's going to do some type of aerial maneuver on Riddle. And he's taking his time. He's climbing over the turnbuckle slow. And, because obviously waiting for Riddle to get set up, Cedric jumps off and he lands on his feet because Riddle moves out of the way. And next thing you know, Riddle fucking gets him. And in a matter of minutes, all three members of the Hurt Business lose. They're arguing with each other. Lashley comes out there and takes care of business and lays out Riddle. So we got them at the pay-per-view, which I'm actually looking forward to. But I still am going with the storyline. I could see it Sunday, where Lashley tells all three of them, do me a favor, stay out of my business. Don't come to ringside. I'm going to do this alone. I have a feeling that's what we're going to get on Sunday.
MVP literally sat there and screamed at Cedric Alexander, don't do anything.
Yeah.
So they're already showing those lines, like we were talking about, those cracks in the facade.
Why do you think they're doing that? Because the Hurt Business is one of the highlights. You think this is just for Royal Rumble drama?
No, I think this is the seeds. This is the seeds that WWE does with every tag team and every group. Look at the seeds that they have with Shayna and Nia. Look at the seeds that they have now with the Hurt Business. It doesn't surprise me. It's the go-to storyline. I agree with you, and I know where you're going with this, that you don't want them to break up. I totally agree. I think that they are more valuable right now together, but they're also a heel faction. So you have to show cracks in the actual group. Now, I don't know if that means that we're going to get somebody to break out and turn against the group, or if this can all be settled, if they all get gold again. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the direction that they're going with this, but they're definitely planting those seeds for somebody, either that, or they might even go the NWO route. You're the weakest link. We're going to beat the shit out of you and move on. So it could be that too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I just don't think they should break up unless, maybe Moves in the chat is on some, maybe somebody's contract is up. Maybe something's going on with Cedric. I don't know. Maybe there's something with the contract. Who knows? It just feels way too forced. You don't have too many cohesive tag teams that people are into, plus they're tag champs on top of it. Right. I don't know. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it. That's how I look at it. There's too many other people you could have with drama in the Royal Rumble. Her Business, I don't think, should be part of it. But now we get, which I like the matches. It just reminded me of the same awful shit we had earlier with the women. Sheamus takes on Morrison.
Oh.
I have been praising Sheamus's work for a while. Morrison, we don't even need to. He's good. They have a great fucking match. I mean, brawling inside the ring, outside of the ring. Miz is at ringside. But ultimately, Sheamus hits white noise on Morrison. Clean win. Clean pin. No DQs, no nothing. For some reason, they got Miz on the mic. That's not right. This and that. Me and Miz against you, handicap match right now. I challenge you. I'm like, oh, they're doing this shit again. Where they don't want to put too many people on the show, so we're going to have people wrestle 2-3 times, last week. So Miz is challenging Sheamus, who just beat Morrison, in a handicap match. And Sheamus is like, you and you. Morrison was laid out. He's like, no problem. So they had the match, and, obviously, to try to make it look like Miz could beat anybody right now, Sheamus gave Morrison the bro kick, and brogue, can't say bro, that's Riddle, brogue kick, and Miz catches Sheamus off guard, hits the skull-crushing finale, and pins Sheamus. So again, this just feels like to give Miz a little momentum into the Royal Rumble that he could possibly win.
I don't know. That entire match was pointless to me. I didn't understand why they're trying to showcase Sheamus in any way either.
Well, some people still think Sheamus versus Drew at Mania. I think that happens at the next pay-per-view, not Mania.
Yeah. I'm not sure where there's another seed of dissonance that we've talked about. Sheamus and Drew. There's been cracks in that mirror too. So we don't know when that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It seems like that's their go-to thing.
Yeah. I mean, look,
WWE's go-to thing lately.
Under the circumstances, WWE with not full roster did whatever they could. So you got to commend them for that. It's just the execution was pretty poor. And, you got to understand something. You can't always blame everything on writers and Bruce Pritchard. These wrestlers are in the biggest promotion of the world, the big time. And sometimes, even if you're fed chicken shit, you got to do what you can to turn it into chicken salad. And the execution of a lot of what we're seeing out there just doesn't come off all that great. Like you could see why R-Truth stands out. You could see why AJ Styles stands out. You could see why some people stand out. And then you got others that, it feels if you give them too much. And honestly, I think Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose are a great example. And it might not be fair to them because do you want to say that they're still not out there that long? But, you feels like you put certain people in too many segments and they turn out lost. Keith Lee wasn't on the show. There were quite a few names that were not on the show if you think about it. But you got to remember, the Royal Rumble is Sunday, and we will have some names in the Rumble Sunday. I know Mish is going to probably do predictions on his Soup show late on Thursday.
Sure.
I'll do them on Friday. And, we'll see what happens. But you're going to see some names return at the Rumble, and they still have about 9 spots open. AJ Styles, as we said earlier, once again wrestles a qualifying match for someone else. Gulak tried to qualify for the Rumble, lost to AJ Styles. Last week, who fought AJ? Oh, it was No, it wasn't Elias. Who fought AJ last week for a qualifying match and lost?
Was it Jeff? No.
Jeff Hardy? I think it was Jeff Hardy. Did he wrestle Jeff Hardy last week? I think he wrestled Jeff Hardy last week. Chat room, who did AJ Styles wrestle last week for a qualifying match? Oh, Jeff Hardy. No, it can't be Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's in the Rumble already. Who did AJ fight? Ricochet. Thank you. Yeah, they had that awesome match. Oh, my God, when he reversed it into the Styles Clash. Oh, man, that match was fire last week. But Ricochet, qualifying match against AJ, loses. Today it's R-Truth's turn. So AJ was, the bearer, the basically the firewall. You want to qualify, you got to get through AJ. 3 times it happened, and AJ won all 3 times. Yeah. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Jeff Hardy, Raw, SmackDown. It doesn't matter. He didn't wrestle AJ last week. It was Ricochet. By the way, I'll say it again. If you did not see that match last week with Ricochet and AJ Styles, go out of your way to check it out. That was awesome. So what other matches we have today? We got Sheamus. We obviously got to get into Asuka and Alexa Bliss in a moment, but trying to think what other matches. Oh, we had Edge's promo, which we talked about earlier. Braun Strowman has been out healing from an injury, so who knows? Right. Maybe Braun returns on Sunday. But did we forget any other match other than Alexa Bliss and Asuka? I don't think we did. I don't think we did. But
Riddle making the attack on who was it? Was it Shelton or no? Was it Bobby Lashley that he hit in the back?
I'm pulling up my notes. I'll pull up my notes and just double check the matches. But we'll get into Asuka and Alexa Bliss because I'll be honest with you, I did not like.
We also didn't talk about the Inception Randy Orton promo and the Inception.
Well, no, we're going to get to that now. Yeah, we're going to get to that right now. So, okay, so we did get into every other match. All right.
Yeah.
So, just to set up Asuka versus Alexa Bliss. Early in the night, it was a little corny to see Randy Orton recapping, him getting burned, which was goofy.
Very Inception, yes.
But when Alexa Bliss did it, it looked a lot better because Alexa Bliss was like watching highlights of last week and laughing at it. She wasn't doing a recap. She was kind of laughing at everything. Alexa Bliss swinging on her swing set, doing like little nursery rhymes, acting like the Fiend is there, but he's not. And, you know, she's going like in and out of, as far as like personalities. Like first she's happy, then she's mad, she's happy. You know, last week she transformed into the Fiend. And last week we also said that Asuka transformed into mush. Asuka was freaked out over every little thing. And Alexa Bliss in her segment tonight, she's like, oh, you know, I get a chance to win a new toy today. Now, for people that don't realize it, I don't have the dates in front of me. I'm doing this on memory. But the last time that Alexa Bliss fought for a women's championship, it's got to be almost 2 years. And the last time she fought for the Raw Women's Championship might be 2.5 to 3 years, believe it or not. So Alexa Bliss fighting for a title has been very rare. And if people remember early on her WWE run on the main roster, she was around the title almost all the time. You remember that? Like up until about 2-3 years ago, like her first couple of years, her and the title were almost synonymous.
Right. Well, she was the only person that was carrying those girls at the time. I mean, they were just still building up Nia Jax at the time.
Okay,
so.
I hope that AS is wrong here. I hope to God that you're wrong.
He's right.
He is right?
I am looking at the actual article right now. Chat site sent it to me earlier. He's saying that Rod McMahon, brother of WWE Chairman Vince McMahon, has passed away at the age of 77.
Oh,
according to
I don't mean to sound like an asshole, everyone. I just got chills upon chills upon chills. I thought Vince had passed. Still tragic. Rod McMahon, the brother of Vince McMahon, passed. I wonder how many of you out there even knew that Vince McMahon had a brother.
I knew about him having a brother because I think it was brought up on Howard Stern, one of his Howard Stern interviews before. I think that was the first time that I actually learned that he had a brother. I don't know if he never did anything for the company though, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Don't think so. Wow. I just got chills upon chills upon chills. I honestly thought that he said Vince. Like, just for a second, I went into a complete cloud, and I'm like, I tried to log on to Twitter, and, you know, I'm logged off because we're doing the show right now, and, like,
sure,
man, that just, you know, wow. You know, I mean, look, it's, like I said, I don't mean to sound like an asshole. It's still tragic. He lost his brother. I am very close to my brother. A lot closer now than in previous years. But, wow. So, yeah, Sam and a few others are saying that his brother Rob was not involved in WWE. I tell you the truth, I'm a little bit curious as far as Vince McMahon's relationship with his brother Rob, because even over the years, you never really heard anything about his brother Rob. You know, I'm a little curious.
Well, I'm looking at the actual memoriam here. Our beloved husband, father, and son, Roderick Rod James McMahon of Willis, Texas, passed away on January 20th, 2021. He was
6
born in
days ago.
Long Island, New York, October 12th, 1943. I know, but I think the memoriam went up today.
Yeah.
That's why people know about it today.
So
Rod graduated from Havelock High School in North Carolina and received a Bachelor of Business degree from Memphis State University. He joined the U.S. Air Force, and while stationed in Ramstein, AFB, Germany, he met his future wife, Janice Gagan McMahon. They were married on November 11th, 1967. Rod loved life. His other passions included family, friends, shooting, sports, all things dogs, and enduring the fervent support of local law enforcement. Rod never met a stranger and was first to lend a hand to anyone in need. He's survived by his mother, Victoria Askew, his wife of 53 years, Janice McMahon, his son, Rome McMahon, and wife, Kate, and children, Law and Blake of Austin, Texas. His son, Troy McMahon, and Ashley, and children, Ty, Trace, Tatum, and TJ of Montgomery, Texas. His brother, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and wife, Linda, and their son, Shane McMahon, and wife, Marissa, and sons, Declan, Kenyon, and Rogan, and daughter, Stephanie McMahon Levesque, and Paul, and daughters, Aurora, Murphy, and Vaughn. Funeral arrangements are postponed. New schedule will be forthcoming. In lieu of flowers, please consider donating to 3 Labs and Friends Rescue and Sanctuary.
Wow. Condolences to the McMahon family. Absolutely. And you know what, Jay Calls, you're right. It's probably why Vince was not at SmackDown last week. Yeah. So, yeah, that sucks. Benjamin, I don't talk about my brother all that much over here because my brother's married with kids. So he's got a little bit of a busy life, but I assure you, especially on Patreon, I've brought up my brother a lot. You know, it's just that, you know, we don't spend a lot of time together because, like I said, he goes home at night to his wife and his kids. I go home to all of you, you know, so, but no, I am very close with my brother. So my brother works for my father's store. So when I work over there too, we work together. In fact, I don't want to get too personal, but just to change topics a little bit. Last week I got the COVID vaccine, the first shot last Tuesday. When I set up the appointments a week before, and some of you don't notice already, I text my brother. I said, you want me to set you up an appointment? Me, mom, and dad are going. And he says, no, not right now. I'm good. So I'm like, okay, you just had like a huge pneumonia along with my father. It was a COVID scare. His daughter got COVID. Like, what do you mean you're good? You know, that's what I'm saying to myself. I found out a day or two later through my mother that my brother's wife does not believe in vaccines. She is totally against vaccines, and she's a teacher. So because she totally does not believe in vaccines, my brother won't get the vaccine. And I told my mother, I said, tell him to just get it, not tell her. And she's that passionate about not getting vaccines that my brother won't get the vaccine. I think that's crazy, in my opinion. So, Devin, the side effects for me last week, I had a headache, I had fever at a 99.9, 100.2. It sounded like a radio station. For the first 36 hours, it was on and off. A little bit of chills, and diarrhea. As soon as I came home, within a few minutes, I took a massive dump. I never dump during the day. I do drive-by dumps in the morning, and that's it. But no, it wasn't all that bad. I heard the second dose is where you really get it. You really get it. So, but no, but condolences to the McMahon family. Wow, I tell you, like I said, they just threw me for a loop because I just read the comment quickly that he wrote, and I saw Vince McMahon, and I saw passed away. I'm like, oh my God. You know, still sad. But so getting back to Asuka, and we're gonna wrap this up. Asuka and Alexa Bliss. Alexa in her promo earlier, she's talking about getting a new toy, and it's the women's championship, obviously. And, you know, she's talking nice. She's got a little attitude. And then they do a little bit of special effects on the screen that she's got, like, her mind is transforming into the Fiend. And then you hear the Fiend's voice, and she says, let me in. I tell you, Alexa Bliss nails it in her role. Just some of it is just way too over the top for me, you know. But we did get something tonight that we rarely ever get. And that was the very end of the match. Asuka and Alexa Bliss. Match starts about 10 minutes to. And for people that don't realize it, most of what you saw in that match is pre-recorded. Even though it says live in the corner, that's pre-recorded. All right? You don't just magically put, you know, rocking horse in the ring and then it leaves. You don't magically, during a commercial break, have makeup totally transform her and change outfits or anything else. Most of this is pre-recorded. That fireball was so perfectly put. That was pre-recorded. And I'm not complaining at that. But that's one thing some people may miss when we go back to live crowds. What you saw last week and what you saw this week and what you saw with Randy Orton and The Fiend lighting him up and setting him on fire, if we were out of COVID, unless it was a cinematic match that was pre-recorded, none of that would have happened. Because this is pre-recorded, they go to a commercial break, and then when they come back, because you got to understand something, I've been in Thunderdome 4 times. When you're in Thunderdome, it's not like wherever you're sitting on the screen, that's where you see it in the building. What you see on your TV screen is the same exact thing we see on Thunderdome. So when it goes to a commercial break, we don't get to see the footage of the match still. We get a big logo that says Thunderdome.
Right.
So whatever they want to show you on the screen, that's what you see. So if I'm sitting ringside, it's not like my viewpoint sees the opposite side of the ring. That's not how Thunderdome goes. You could be in the boondocks in the corner. You still see front ringside in center.
Right.
So, you know, and you'd be surprised how many people that don't know that. But we get a commercial break.
Why, do you think people think that the monitors are actually looking at each other?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Sure, you'd be surprised. Some people think. Let me put it this way. This is a good way to put it. When wrestlers go around ringside and Riddle is coming out for a match and he does the fist pump or he's going bro, and he walks by your screen on the LED panel. If you look on TV and let's say you happen to be ringside on the screen and he walks right by you, you don't see him walking right by you on your screen. So it's not like, he just walked right by me. No, you see the center camera just like I do, Mish does, and everyone else does. What you see is the TV. That's the same vantage point. So, you know, even when you have wrestlers outside the ring and it looks like they're jaw-jacking with the fans have no idea that that person's right in front of them because your vantage point is not, oh, he's right in front of me right now. That's not it. You just see the center camera. So, cool for people that didn't know that. A lot of people didn't know that. But anyway, so we go to a commercial break, and I wrote on Twitter, I said, here comes the fuckery. And sure enough, we come back, Alexa Bliss, the lights go out. Somehow she dramatically transforms, black makeup, this and that. It looks like a bad, you know, like 70s, you know, ninja movie. Asuka's going like this and like a superhero. And Alexa Bliss like, psh, 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 blocking everything. And I'm like, oh, is she going to win the women's championship? I thought for a minute Alexa Bliss was winning the women's championship.
Yeah.
But I expected some big-time fuckery, and we got it. Alexa Bliss, where we think that she might actually win this thing, next thing you know, Randy Orton is right behind her.
Right.
Alexa Bliss turns around, and Randy Orton hits Alexa Bliss with the RKO. Looked nice. I mean, they nailed it. And we go off the air. So the match went to a no contest.
I like that part. I like the part that he was willing to take down Alexa Bliss because Alexa Bliss is no longer Alexa Bliss. She's Bray Wyatt.
Right. Tony, I don't know what you mean by that. Could you clarify? You don't have to super chat it, but what does he mean? Is he saying suicide, the oldest trick in the book? Tony Gloss is good, a good family here. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't think he's trolling either. I don't know what you're trying to say, but
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to say. Yeah, I'm looking at it, but what'd you think of the match? I mean, I don't like Asuka turning into mush again, simply because Alexa Bliss is turning backwards. Asuka's like freaked out. Why was Asuka almost pissing her pants in fright because Alexa Bliss was on a rocking horse?
They've never made it clear. We have no context for why Asuka is terrified of Alexa Bliss or is extremely superstitious. There is no clarity to that. I don't know of anybody that even knows the reason why. Just Asuka's apparently terrified of spooky ghosts.
I don't like that at all. I mean,
no, I don't. I think it's a character weakness without explanation for a character that has done just fine building herself up. It's not the weakness you want to give her. It's campy, it's hokey, and for one of the few women's wrestlers on the roster that people take seriously, it's a bad look. It's just going to degrade her.
You know, I mean, Asuka and Charlotte are defending the tag team titles at the Royal Rumble against Nia and Shayna.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at all of these segments with Charlotte and Lacey Evans and Asuka and Alexa Bliss, I understand the storyline of preparing for your matches, but Asuka has had tag team partners in the past from Kairi Sane and others that even if they were having singles matches later on, they still came to the aid of their partners. Why is it that they're tag champs, and for the last couple of weeks, yes, I know that they wrestled on SmackDown against the Riot Squad, but it just feels like they're in two totally different buildings when shit goes down. I don't know, man. I mean, I guess the match tonight with Asuka and Alexa Bliss did its job because a lot of people thought there was going to be a title change. A lot of people thought something was going to happen. I don't think a lot of people thought that Randy Orton was going to go out there and, you know, hit the RKO. But I think this leads to The Fiend returning at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel like The Fiend's going to return, too. I actually don't have a doubt about that. You almost need him to return in order to complete the circuit of the storyline.
Yeah.
If he doesn't return, it gets really awkward if you have Randy Orton out there RKOing Bliss every week. I mean, that could be amusing, but I think that you have to bring him back in order to stand up for Bliss at this point, you know?
I like a lot of what they're doing with Alexa Bliss. I just think Asuka is the wrong person to do it to. You want to freak out Dana Brooke? No problem. You want to freak out Mandy Rose, Naomi? No problem. You want to freak out, you know, you understand what I'm saying? Like, but Asuka
There's certain girls, right. There's certain girls that you can do that to, and considering that they have little to no value or character work, it's easy to do something with them because it's only a bonus putting them in the limelight. Yeah. Asuka is not necessarily a reputation, but she carries herself differently than the rest of the roster, and different things are expected of her. She's looked at in the same way as, in a way, like Shayna Baszler. She's looked at as an athlete, as opposed to campy goofiness from like people like Billie Kay and Peyton Royce or Carmella or Liv Morgan. Like, you expect campiness from girls like that.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily expect it from people like Charlotte. You don't expect it from Asuka, you know? So, yeah, that's why this is kind of falling flat with myself. I'm sure there's lots of other people that don't like this storyline in the least, and that's probably the reason why. I
just don't know where it goes from here. We'll see soon.
Didn't Asuka here? Okay, so I was kind of looking through the database right now. I was trying to find out. I'm like, didn't Asuka face people that were supernatural before? And you know who came up? Ember Moon.
Yeah,
she had a feud with Ember Moon. She didn't act stupid and scared. And oh my God, she's a werewolf lady.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of Asuka being scared to the point that she becomes like this, you know, just pile of mush, you know, in the ring. Like I said, you know, you go back and you look last week when Alexa Bliss was about to hit Sister Abigail on Asuka. You know, Alexa Bliss, she's smiling, she's rubbing the makeup. You know, it's a great visual. But if you watch that segment again and only focus on Asuka, Asuka looks like an absolute goof. Just standing there waiting for taking a move, and it just looked horrible. Absolutely horrible, man. Yeah. So, before we go, Jay Carlos, I guess he's talking about, was it Bad Bunny? Is that his name? Is it Bad Bunny? I don't remember his name. Bad Bunny. Yeah, Bad Bunny. He's going to perform the song Booker T at the Royal Rumble, but the song is in Spanish. He speaks Spanish, but isn't that the first time in WWE that something like that ever happened in a live performance?
No.
Well, Nikolai
Garcia
Volkov.
Oh, wow.
The Russian national anthem.
No, didn't Lillian Garcia do something? And I'm pretty sure somebody else sang something in French, too.
Franchise. I swear on my mother, you got to understand, it's 1 o'clock in the morning over here, and I've been up since 6. Yeah. I get up between 6 and 6:30 every day. I honestly forgot his name for a minute. I know it was something Bunny, but I'm not joking. So, but anyone out there remember anybody performing in a different language? That's actually a pretty good question. What about the? No, I was going to say the Quebecers, but that was in English. Pitbull performed at WrestleMania Miami. Yeah, but was that in English? I think Pitbull was in English. Did Pitbull perform in a different language? Devin M says, yeah.
Didn't Lillian Garcia sing something in Spanish?
I think she did. She might have, yeah. Well, I can't say the Canadian national anthem because that's in English also. But Darren Gordon Hill says, yeah, Machine Gun Kelly. He sung in gibberish. Man, when Kevin Owens powerbombed that cuck, I fucking, seriously, man. Machine Gun Kelly. Oh, there's not too many people. I'm not saying he's a bad guy or anything, but man, when he powerbombed him, I'm like, and then he no-sold it on the Twitter because he wanted to let his fans know that he's cool, that this and that. I'm like, you're a cuck. Seriously. Somebody should just crack you over the head. Let Sting hit you over the head with a plastic baseball bat and somebody switch that bat at the last second for a real bat. See how you feel. Machine Gun Kelly. Like I said, none against him personally. Just as far as wrestling goes, when Kevin Owens did what he did, I still remember to this day, that son of a bitch went right on Twitter or Facebook to let everybody know that, no, it's good, this and that, I'm fine, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dick, fucking sell it. It just got me so mad. Angry. I got legit angry at that guy. Never forgave him. So anyway, a final. But anyone come up with any other themes? I can't think of anybody else. But Franchise said she did her. Oh, yes. Lillian Garcia definitely did a CD in Spanish. I don't think she performed any of the songs on television. Was Jinder Mahal's song in Spanish? I mean, in Indian? I think Jinder Mahal's entrance music is in Indian, right?
Well, if you're just talking about entrance music.
No. Oh. Are you going to watch the Superstar? Are you going to watch that special tomorrow? Showcasing a lot of the Indian wrestlers?
No, probably not.
Superstar.
I might check it out later, but I'm probably not going to be able to check it out live tomorrow. I got Frank and Gus tomorrow night, so.
Okay. Thank you, VJ. It's in English. Okay. All right. I'm going to check out. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Well, with that said, everyone, we're going to jet out of here. I'm going to do my edits, get this online. We obviously talked a little bit longer because of the Peacock deal. I mean, $1 billion deal in wrestling does not come across. When you think about AEW landing $175 million with TNT, and then you realize that this deal is 6 times as big. And not only that, like you said, WWE technically is like, yeah, here's the login. Do whatever you got to do.
Right.
That's big different from running a company that's only a year and a half old. So big money.
Yeah.
But
they made a very smart move. WWE will always make money in spite of themselves.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, too, that think that this is spoiling the end of the company. I don't see why. I don't understand that thought process. The people that actually think that the company is going down the tubes now. I'm like,
you know, it's one thing if you
don't make the moves, but
yeah, you got WrestleMania announced for the next 3 years. We're going to get out of COVID. And then you got $1 billion deal waiting for you also in the middle of COVID. I say 3 to 5 years. I think they're in pretty good shape, at minimum. And then, like you said, you think of all the ad revenue and YouTube revenue and this and that. I mean, WWE now, when you look at their banning of Twitch and other things, they're now starting to do little things with Cricket Wireless and these streaming things. Now you see a little bit more WWE branching out as far as like that platform. So I think next, like you said, you're going to see more of the wrestlers doing those services, similar to like the Cameo stuff. I think we're going to see that aspect, and WWE is going to make a huge play financially.
Yeah.
So, Mish, it's been great. I will see you tomorrow night. For those on Patreon, tomorrow night is Off the Cuff. Mish, myself, and Kev Castle will be on together tomorrow.
All right, you guys take it easy.
Yeah, and you're doing your Frank and Gus on your Patreon, correct?
Correct. We're doing that beforehand. So,
okay. Yeah. Patreon.com/Wrestling Soup, everybody. So, Mish, much love. My thoughts are still with you with the situation with your cat. And, I know a lot of us out there are all, praying that everything goes better.
Me too.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't want to bring it up because I know how, but.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I know. That's why I waited to the very end, because I know a lot of people over here as well wanted to say that. So I told them I would say it for them.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words. So thank you.
I see you tomorrow. All right, everybody. We will end on a little bright note. I know I couldn't resist everyone. I had to do the Bernie thing. Everybody else was doing the Bernie mittens. And I'll give you a little spoiler. Wednesday, I'll be wearing the Bernie mittens shirt. I actually have someone that's supposedly sending me the actual mittens. Exactly. I just don't think I want to do the show wearing mittens because everything's hot in here already. Could you imagine me hitting the gi pole with mittens? So, anyway, it's been great, everyone. Much love to everybody who tuned in. I'm looking at the playbacks, and obviously not all at the same time, but we had 2,159 of you who tuned in at some point tonight, so we do appreciate it. As I say always, if you really enjoyed the show, it'll help us if you gave it a thumbs up on the way out. That tells YouTube that you like the show and you recommend it to others. They, in turn, will recommend our show to others, and it's always a cool thing to get some of you out there that'll just reach out and say, hey, I just learned of your show, really enjoy it and everything. And, I thank them, but really, they should thank you because a lot of times they get the recommendation, and that's because of all of you. So anyway, I'm going to jet out of here. Much love to all of you. Much love to Mish as well. And we're all praying for you. I know he's, too tough exterior, but he's a good man. He's a good man. And we're praying for you, man. Hopefully everything works out. So I'm going to get out of here. If you're on our Patreon, patreon.com/Don Tony. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, Mish, myself, Kev Castle. If not, Wednesday after NXT and AEW, I will be right here. And NXT is going to be interesting show this week. AEW as well, but on Wednesday, I'm going to get into what I have learned so far about this battle of the belts. It looks like more and more we may see this event, Impact Wrestling versus AEW. I'm curious if NWA gets into the mix. I don't know how much, but battle of the belts. Something very interesting that's going to be brewing in the very near future with AEW. So, no, VJ, you could still sign up. Patreon, as little as $5. And as I always do for the last week of every month, if you sign up and for any reason you don't like it, send me a DM over there and I'll refund your money. So patreon.com/Don Tony. If you sign up, like $5 gets you everything. And there are hundreds and hundreds of back catalog episodes that we've done only on Patreon. So you'll get hundreds of episodes from the past 3-4 years. Plus you get the live shows. And not only that, you'll get in time for the Royal Rumble contest for this weekend. Get a chance to win some moolah. Fabulous. But all right, let me get out of here. So much love as always, everyone. I will catch you all again either Tuesday night on Patreon or Wednesday night after NXT and AEW. And I'm out of here. Take care, everyone. Be well. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao, everybody.